welcome to another episode of Trade. Today we have with us again Mr. Sahqani. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, Dorothy. Thank you very much for inviting me for this. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Mr. Sahqani, last time we had such a nice chat about our past history, working together since 2016 and all the way through. We've done amazing projects as well this year. I think so in this episode, I think we really would love to talk more about how can we make business easier. You know, Blue Block's slogan is because business should be easy. And I believe that with all my heart, business should be easy. The thing is, business in some countries is not easy. But I believe with all my heart, if we work together, we can make business easier. And eventually, if all of us work together, we can really make business easy.
Yes.
So now the question is, we've worked together on so many cases. What do you think is the things that a trader could do to make business easier for them to trade in Pakistan? Pakistan being supposedly one of the most difficult countries in the world and one of the most difficult countries in the region. How can we make business easier, especially trade, cross-border trade business? How can we make it easier?
Yeah, I tell you. This is the wrong concept that is difficult in Pakistan, but it's
Okay.
very easy. It's very easy if you follow the law and the procedures. I mean, yeah, I mean, for the traders and the importer, they should know what they are importing, what is the classification and the HS code, correct HS code of the goods, and what is the import conditions and restrictions on the imported goods, and keeping all these aspects, they should make proper declaration and correct declaration. Because in Pakistan, you know, after the introduction of single window, we have a self-assessment system here. And when you make your declaration, it is treated to be assessed by the trader, by the importer. And when it is found that something is wrong, something has been misdeclared in the goods, then then the law takes its own course. I mean, the misdeclaration charge is established, and you have been given a show cause notice, and the procedure is adopted to to adjudicate and to punish you because you made a wrong declaration. So for that purpose, you should be clear that your agent, your consultant, and your declarations are correct. I mean, your agent is doing well. He is competent enough to know your products, the HS code, the certifications, and the restriction what is required. And if you attach all the um, certifications, invoice, packing list, whatever it is demanded by the custom, which is mandatory to attach with the goods declaration, then you will get the goods released within no time. I mean, the system is works automatically if it is good and properly declared, and your profile is okay. You are a good importer, importing goods for the last 2 3 months, and your consignment are okay, and your history is not bad. So then your profile will be okay, and you will be facilitated through green channel.
So
I
tell
will.
me then, why do you think is this perception then there? If the perception is wrong, why does the perception exist? Because so many people I talk with says that they're struggling in Pakistan, they struggle with operations, their goods get stuck in customs. If this doesn't need to be the case, why is it the case, do you think?
I mean, maybe maybe one or two cases, that doesn't mean that everything is bad. I mean, something could be wrong, but this is not the practice. I mean, so
Yeah.
sometimes the bad things are spread in a very very fastly. I mean, so yeah. So I don't think that if we are, the, let us see, if you have a proper declaration, you declare your goods in proper classification, and you have complied all the regulatory measures and the requirements, then what is the problem with the custom? Custom has no problem, and the system will clear you without any hesitation.
So could
And
it then be that the agents do not always know what to do? Is there a possibility that they say, "Oh, we know," but they don't fully know? Is there a possibility for that that there needs to be an element of education in the market, or that, let's say, manufacturers or importers needs to know what their agent needs to know, or is there a challenge?
yeah, that might be because in the agent side, they are not all qualified, and the people who are working in the field are not so well educated. They don't even know the classification, the proper description of the goods, and the proper information. Um, and the proper information are not given to the agent by the importers, or the literature, proper catalogs are not provided to them to study and to get the knowledge of that product which is being imported.
Hmm.
So these type of things matters in the system, because if it is something with the traders or their agents, then it will automatically apply to the department also. This
Yes.
is this is the problem here. I mean, so they are not well qualified. The If they get the big importers, I mean the big industries, they are importing, they are doing their business, they are manufacturing goods in Pakistan, they don't have any problem. I think there might be some problem with the commercial items. In that case, there might be one or two cases where misdeclarations are detected, and the people, even lot of, in many countries, uh, this type of misdeclarations are detected. Even the other countries of the world, you can see. So this is
Absolutely.
not a country specific phenomena. It happens all over the world in limited.
Exactly.
Mass declarations are made. People try to evade taxes everywhere. So this is not the true for the Pakistan. I mean, this is totally wrong, I think.
Yes, no, I think it's very much everywhere, right? That we see that. It's not a Pakistani issue. I think it is a developing markets challenge. And if we look at that, what do you think should traders be aware about agents? And what do you think agents should be aware that they need to know before they participate and offer the service towards customs? It's if you could speak to a trader now and tell him, listen, this if you want to do business in my country, this is the things to look out for in a trader and if in an agent. And if you talk to agents and say, hey, you want to be an agency, this is the things you need to make sure you collect from the trader in order to not have challenges with customs. What would you say to them?
I think I tell you that the Pakistan Customs has already introduced a training program for the clearing agents. Officially,
Excellent.
they have a training institute, and they teach, I mean, and to the clearing agents and their employees, and every 6 months or every year they plan a program, and so they give training to that. So, but that is not properly working. I mean, they need some, I think, private institutes are required.
Okay.
They are technically more equipped with the knowledge of the trade and the custom and the business. So they should get training from the private institutes regarding the clearance, the supply chain compliance, and the customs laws and other shipping laws. So that requires, I mean, I have not seen that in Pakistan. I don't know. I don't have in my knowledge that there are companies who are providing training, private companies who are providing training to the clearing agent and the shipping agents. Uh, but maybe, but that is a requirement of the day because the system is developing and IT industry is developing and IT is being adopted, and single window has already been adopted in Pakistan. So for that matter, they need proper training to deal the imports in the new scenario when there is a single window and their declarations are software is different, their software is different, and the procedure is different. So they need proper training to deal the import declarations and proper. Another thing is that they they do mistakes in uh, declaration. Sometimes they click wrong, I mean, box. For that purpose, they are also their consignment is delayed due to that error. So for
Yes.
that purpose, I mean, they need a proper training. So I think there should be some good institutes in Pakistan to, to teach the and train the people. I mean, doing jobs in clearing and compliance service. And the other thing is that companies who are doing big business, they need a consultant, proper
Okay.
consultant, educated consultant, that they should get uh, proper consultation regarding, for example, I mean, 50% people, even in the industry, importing industry, I mean, the importer don't know the correct classification of certain items. Sometimes they import new items, they don't know the
Yes.
correct classification.
Yeah.
So they need a proper educated consultant. So they get the proper HS code. They should learn that what other requirements are required for the import of these products. I mean the certification, the health, or the other certification restriction. So their consignment should not be delayed, and the people should not ask any bribe or whatever the perception you already discussed.
Yes.
Because if your declaration is correct, your documents are correct, you have fulfilled all your requirements according to the law, then I think no need of any favor from any department employee.
So what you're saying now actually brings to mind a case that we did. We did a case. I can't. I don't know if you can remember, but on it was a case on valuation, and the customer's information was correct. The customer's classification was correct. The valuation was correct, but there was still a shipment stuck in customs. I don't know if you remember that. And I remember you going in and you discussed this with the authorities. And at the beginning, when we discussed the case with the authorities on this valuation element, there was a misunderstanding with the lower level customs officers. And basically, we supported them to understand, okay, this is not the element that should be applied. You should be looking at this. So, and then ultimately the valuation of the customer was accepted because, you know, you were there to be able to discuss and mediate the situation. And within a day, it was resolved. The question now that I have is, where was the challenge in that element? There was some misunderstanding on the customs side, and there was some element of, let's say, perhaps perception on the agent side that they can't challenge customs on this topic. And we went in and we challenged customs with their decision and said, no, we don't agree. This is how you need to look at this. This is our documentation. This is what's correct. And ultimately, our customers' valuation was accepted because we were able to explain this to the lower and perhaps a little bit higher up customs team members and management. So in that situation, you know, how do you assess that? Where does the knowledge gap sit?
You know, sometimes the officers in the custom department are new, and sometimes the products are very technical.
Yes.
And to understand that, they need proper literature and proper guidance from even the importer or the clearing agent. So
Yes.
in that case, I mean, sometimes I still remember in that case which you referred to. In that case, there the part number of the item was the same, but the previous evidence which they applied on the goods was that they imported that item along with the software. And this time, this item was imported without software.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the previous invoice, we pointed out that the additional digits showing the presence of software package is mentioned, and in this invoice, this is not mentioned. We indicated that in the last three digits are not there in the new invoice, but in the previous invoice that was there. So the price difference is due to not buying the software. So then they agreed. I mean, we had evidence, I mean, for that, and we have a literature. So, I mean, sometimes you have to guide the custom officer. It happens everywhere. Every person is not 100% perfect. Sometimes they do mistakes, and sometimes they want to learn. Even sometimes they say, custom officers say, that we learn a lot from the clearing agents and the importers. Because everything they bring, they guide us, they brief us, they provide literature, and they add our knowledge.
Exactly.
They add our knowledge. So this happens. I mean, but you have to be prepared that you have the evidence, you have the proper literature, and tell and guide them, and they will accept it. But I mean, this is the proper. I mean, this is not a serious. I mean, matter. It was not a serious objection. Rather, it was due to lack of knowledge. So sometimes it happens in the department.
Exactly. I think it's very normal, right? Because everybody cannot know everything. And I think if we look at that, every single person, whether they're sitting on the private sector or whether they're sitting on the public sector, is on a journey of learning, right? And ultimately, if then the the private sector prepares their cases properly, then the public sector will actually say, oh, okay, interesting, and can learn and can develop through that. I've actually seen many cases where even higher up officials enjoyed the collaboration, and where we would sit together in meetings where they would actually use the consultation as an opportunity to gather information about the industry, and where they would like to
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
how different companies do it, and so that they can learn and prepare themselves better to serve. I very rare occasions, actually, I've honestly, and now how many years have we are doing this, I've never found a case we weren't able to solve, because my experience of the customs authorities is that they're always open to discuss, they're always open to learn, they're always open to find a solution, they're always open to consult. And but they want to get the real information. They want to deliberate, they want to consult one another, they want to reach consensus in their committees, and then they want to make a decision. And the question then is the industry not open enough for those consultations? Is it that they are not preparing enough for those consultations, or is it that they're not, open enough to this? Because what I've seen is a lot of brokers, importers say, no, customs said this and I have to do this. And sometimes I don't agree with that. I don't think that just because customs says something, that is what needs to be done. Sometimes you can say, no, this is what the law says, and my documentation is correct. You don't have to just do what customs says. You have to do what the law says. But what customs says is not necessarily the law, what the law says. So what is your perspective of that? Should importers and agents become a little bit more bold and learn to assess their cases better in order to present their cases, defend their cases? And why are they not doing that?
Uh, it happens sometime, but not every time. I mean, this work is also, I categorize it as intellectual work. I mean,
Mm,
the custom officers who are working in import section, import department, they are doing intellectual job. I mean, they have to study a lot of things. I mean, they have to uh, study and the rules of interpretation, the
yeah,
HS code, the WTO laws, the valuation laws, and the local customs act laws and relevant allied laws. I mean, and then interpret according to the case which is before them. I mean, sometimes there might be difference of interpretation between
yes,
the trader and the custom officer. So, if the basic officer is not, I mean, convinced, then you have the big officers and the big officers. You can approach them, and forums are available. I mean, this is a process. I mean, you can you if you are right, you can fight up to the end. I mean, you will win. I mean, so maybe sometime there could be harassment, but it will not be everywhere, every forum. You will when you will approach a higher forum, you will get remedies. So it happens. I mean, I know the perception and the interpretation go side by side.
yes. So what advice would you give traders? How should they approach that, and what should they do?
Sorry?
So if you can give advice to traders,
Yeah.
What would you advise them to do? And, how should they approach it? And what should they do in these situations to achieve success?
Yeah, I mean, you, if you have a you want to approach to the suppose in the court of law you hire a lawyer attorney to plead
Yes.
your. This is a trade. As a trade is more technical. More technical. Lot of laws are involved in. I mean, and the provincial laws, the local laws, the federal laws, and the international laws, and the WTO laws, and the WCO procedures. So, I mean, lot of legal frameworks are involved in this case. So,
Yes.
they need a proper consultant if they want success in their business. They
Yeah.
need a good advisor. If you have a good advisor, you will rule. Simple as that.
Awesome. Simple. Because business should be easy. Exactly.
Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
lovely. Sounds lovely.
this is you know, every time you need a specialist, a man
Exactly.
who is equipped with the art of doing all these things. If you get so, so this is very easy for them. I mean, it happens. People hire cheap agents. I mean, cheap in prices on the lower rate agents for clearance cost to save the clearing cost, and uh, so that is the problem. If you involve a competent firm and the competent consultants to deal your case, there will be no problem. But the problem is when you hire, I mean, semi-educated people for the purpose, they are not competent, they don't have a knowledge, full knowledge of that. That creates a problem for the traders.
Clear.
And then if it is a little mistake in that, it will create a lot of problem for you because when it is your consignment, the goods are delayed, you will have to pay the damage charges, the container detention charges, and the lot of. Sometimes we have seen that the custom duty amount is less, but the detention damage charges are more than the custom
Mm-mm-mm.
taxes paid to the government.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
in that situation, trader is not in a position to sell the goods in the market because automatically they have to add the price with that. So another type of inflation it will be created because cost is increasing on that product. If you want to compete in the market, you have to keep the cost of low doing that. So that will be good for them to hire a good consultant and the good shipping of the authorized operator so that their cost should be low and they could compete in the market.
That sounds fantastic. I think, thank you so much again, Mr. Shakwani, for joining Let's Talk Trade. It has been a pleasure talking to you again today, a little bit more about what traders can expect, what international industry can expect. And I look forward to have you on another Let's Talk Trade session again soon, where we can dive into some other elements of the inner workings of customs, perhaps the inner workings of the ministerial bodies, and how to navigate those complexities correctly, compliantly, and above board. I look forward as well to have you on the next session. Love always to learn from you, and it's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you very much, my player. Thank you. So nice of you.
And everybody else there, if you have any questions, please do comment, please do text, please do ask any questions you will have. And if you would like any questions for Mr. Shakwani, please do message us and we will bring him back to answer all of those questions. Looking forward to talk trade with you again. Let's talk trade. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.